Hi, this is Chef Michele Massari from Lucciola, New York City. Tonight is the night. It's a great Wednesday for the Italian table. I'm the proudest to start this amazing dinner based on being Italian, wanting to share what is our highest value and what is us, what we care the most, the food, the passion, and the tradition. This is a great initiative, and when I was asked for, I felt more than proud, I felt excited, and I felt it was just about time for. So enjoy my night and Italian table. Thank you.
Welcome everyone. Second dinner, we are at the Lucciola Restaurant. I'm pleased to introduce you Michele Massari. He's a very good friend. Also, he's one of the chefs in New York that really believes in authenticity. That's why we are here presenting all the PDO, PGI products. As you know, this is part of a campaign financed by the Italian government called True Italian Taste. And tonight, the specific initiative is the authentic Italian table, chef's dinner table. So Michele, I want to give the floor to you. Thank you very much for having us here tonight. We're going to have a wonderful menu. And thank you again for coming.
Thank you. Welcome everybody. The night is about the wind. I'm sure you get it, some of the wind here. It's a special corner, it's a special table. So what we are asking for tonight is either or not you ever been to Italy, tonight you are in Italy by any meaning. Let's enjoy also the sound of New York, which for a few seconds is going to distract you and bring you back to the town. But from now on, the wind is going to flow, the night is going to flow based to three main regions. The pleasure of having an Italian table, the statement, the strong statement we want to do, that we're going to always be more and more close to authenticity, quality, and the night is all about you. Enjoy the wind.
Thank you.
You are eating as a starter, it's a traditional bruschetta with a twist of focaccia. Focaccia is homemade, and the flour we are using is called Molino Petra. I really invite you guys to go check how amazing is this flour. On top we have baby Cherokee heirloom from the Hudson Valley, local. Red garlic, it's called redneck garlic. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a special type of garlic coming from the very east part of Europe. Some of that you can find in Poland. And it looks like in the past years, probably with the climate change, has been growing very, very consistently in this part of the United States. So I like to get something that is really local, but at the same time as a part and heritage of Europe. Capers on top, they have a very strong and distinctive flavor. It's called capers from the Iblei mountain in Sicily. They match very well with the DOP olive oil on the top and some local basil. They love to call it Hawaiian basil. Not sure why, but it goes well with the wind. Still there.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Enjoy the temperature. Like this, I always like to ask you questions like, first of all, how do you like? There's anybody who has question about this? There's something that you felt it was different or you were expecting something else? There's any question about it? Do you like the consistency? You felt it was at the right temperature? It was the right bite? Anything was too bready? Anything you guys want to ask? How would you do it if you were the one doing this? Would you change something about it?
Were you inspired by the wind tonight?
Yes, totally. Gone with the wind. So the idea of the focaccia in the start was, first of all, to have time. Because a proper dinner, as any Italian table would say, requires time. And since we are not eating together, but we want to spend time together, I need some time from one dish to another. This is a very simple dish, but it also allows to get all the flavors we want to play with during the night. Some salt, the black salt on top, garlic, the red garlic we said, and then we kept the tomatoes waiting for the right moment and ripening under the olive oil and a little bit of pepper. The pepper we're using, it's a minty. It's not a basil that you feel it's mint, it's the pepper. It's called kampot. It takes a very long journey from Cambodia, but it's an easy journey because it's dry. And it's actually one of the ingredients that I love the most this year because I love to put faces on ingredients. I love to know stories about it. And actually I have all the pictures of the guy picking this pepper. And they are very, very nice family. They are close to the product as much as we are close in Italy to olive oil or coffee or prosciutto because they do they pepper themselves, they dry themselves. So I love the fact that it gives me an excuse to say, hey, how you doing over there? How is everything? And putting on something that is Italian, because New York, it's a melting pot. It's a way we meet everybody, but also a way to combine ingredients that we pick being the best. No substitution allowed, never in any dinner, to be authentic. But there might always be a better ingredient locally or sourcing that it works just fine. So I hope you enjoyed it. The weather was not really on our side for the yeast and the work on focaccia, but with a couple of tricks and putting the salt at the end, we got it, I think, right. Okay, so can we say nailed? Round one, okay. So I went to the kitchen to check if everything was fine, and they said, go, go, go. So I feel they don't want me there, so. And I said, I can stay, go, 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 go. So I think it's the right time to comment and say a word about the wine. You start with a very interesting bubble option, which is called Ferrari. Ferrari is the only and the one. It's the Italian champagne. Can we call it like that? Yes and no. The technique we use for making that, hi Matteo, hi Camilla, which is the family, Lunelli family of the Ferrari Perlé, they use a strategic technique called metodo champenoise. So we can say that. But remember, Champagne, it's a little town, it's a little city in France. But there's another little city in France called Crémant, but nobody wants to talk about that. We'll talk about another time. So I see that you guys have on the menu a couple of choices for the starter pasta. You have spaghetti alla chitarra and you have tagliatelle bolognese. Tagliatelle bolognese, they sound and they taste exactly like my accent, in the same way. The only twist we have over there is that we decided to choose again the best ingredient we could find. So the mixture of the ground meat is my selection of grass-fed blend of Iberico pork. Are you familiar with Iberico pork? Great. First time ever you're gonna have it in a bolognese, because usually, for some reason, which I don't agree, when we do a blend of ground meat, we don't buy the most incredible ingredient, but we buy what blends the best. Well, I don't like that part. I like identity, I like giving what I feel is the best. So Iberico is in your blend. And then you have grass-fed filet, grass-fed ribeye, and grass-fed T-bone steak, all blend in my mixture. But the secret ingredient beside your made tagliatelle, you will tell from the color that we use special eggs from Virginia. We call them heritage chicken, because according to the law, you can have the eggs from this chicken, but you cannot eat them. So I think it's really great. It's a great option, and they are full of nutrients. And on top, you're gonna have Parmigiano Reggiano DOP. Parmigiano Reggiano, well, it says a lot of things, but in a very simple way, in 3 ingredients, which are milk, salt, and rennet, but also heritage, tradition, and again, simplicity, what could be best on an Italian table. Parmigiano Reggiano, 24 months. I think it's a great match when you are putting on your pasta. We could use a 36, we could use a 48. I think in the day before, maybe you try some vacche rosse. I think someone had a sample of it. So Parmigiano Reggiano can be done with many different types of milk, but it will always based on the concept of being authentic, DOP, which means made where they belong to, and at least 12 months age. Because there's only one Parmigiano Reggiano, and it's DOP. Again, 3 simple letters. Okay, I think it's time to go get in there. If they send me out, I'll give you more information. Enjoy the Chianti, because I saw you get it, and the Vermentino, which is probably the most interesting wine that comes from the land and island with the strongest wind in Italy, called Maestrale. The wind is quoted as an ingredient, as you can see. So, me, Scott, and the dinner. Me at the Italian table. Did you like, guys, the pairing we did with the wine? Do you think it works fine? And also, did you realize how not fair we were with the portion between the pasta with uni e bottarga and the tagliatelle bolognese? Did you see how much bigger was the plate with the tagliatelle towards the one with the uni pasta? Well, there is a reason. Intensity and a lot of flavor must be used always very carefully. Because getting to the point that you don't feel what is going to be next in terms of saltiness, umami, and all the perception of temperature as well is always the key. Our mouth can feel many flavors, but what we sometimes refer to taste, feeling, and aroma, it's not exactly what we feel we are having. Because a few of the flavors goes in the tongue, other in the palate, and a few of them in the nose. For example, I see someone taking a picture of a beautiful 24 months Parmigiano Reggiano. That is one of those things that involves nose, palate, and your tongue as well. Because the umami nature of the Parmigiano Reggiano is going to be in any single bite getting more and more, matching with anything that you're going to taste. It could be fish, it could be meat. How did you like the texture of the pasta? Did you feel it was right? I feel that the spaghetti alla chitarra, mancini, so a kind of pasta that is harvest, we can say, because it's from the grain to the production to the pasta from the same person. I feel they match very well, and they allow us to serve them not too hot. Because when you do a pasta with uni or caviar, for example, you should always serve room temperature. Many reasons: the creaminess, the umami, the consistency, the way of the approach, and how delicate it's the major ingredient, in this case, the sea urchin. The tagliatelle bolognese, well, a lot of eggs, good flour, a lot of Parmigiano Reggiano DOP, meat. And I have a question for you. Do you think in the real bolognese we put tomato or we don't put tomato sauce? No. According to the original recipe, many hundreds of years ago, there was no tomato when it was invented. So the first recipe was meant without tomato. But since in Emilia-Romagna we like to overdo, we decided to add tomato. But still, we don't put the real sauce of tomato, but we put a very special product called concentrate or paste. And we use a specific brand, Mutti, which is over here from Parma, Italy. According to the original recipe from the Accademia of Cucina Italiana, you should always use a triple concentrate for your bolognese sauce, because you don't want to add any acidity, you don't want to add any water, and you want to keep the color very light. So I think it's time to go back in the kitchen because we have some meat, and I see the Chianti is working. Seems the Ventino is doing fine, and you guys are quite beautiful people, so thank you for being here, and enjoy the rest of the meal. It's not the end of the dinner, but it's the moment we want to cheer everybody with something sweet. So we're ready for a couple of desserts, and we're ready for grappa. The dessert we picked tonight, it's called crema antica. It's not just a custard, it's a tradition, and the consistency is going to be from a recipe of 200 years ago. We will be topping with some pine nuts, a little bit of amarena, and you'll see in a minute. Be ready, there will be also granita. Ci vediamo presto.